Welcome to Unity of Fort Collins. We have some new folks here today, so we're super glad to see you or see you back. Welcome to new kids rejoining Unity, so we're so glad to have you. Welcome to the folks online. And I just want to say again that we have as many as 70 people viewing us online every week. 70 people. So if you think about who all is here in the sanctuary, 50 plus, and double that with the folks online, our community is bigger than we even know. So we're super excited to be able to serve people here and far away and people who can't travel. So our Unity community is bigger than we even know. And I want to introduce someone today who's really done a lot for us. Pat Atkinson, who's of Christmas quilt fame. Pat, would you just, yay. Pat is the donor for all of our technical updates. So the sound booth back there, Gerald and Dennis and Robert have been working on, and it will be unveiled shortly. But what you'll find is that our ability to do technical support, both in the sanctuary and online, will improve greatly. So, Pat, your gift has allowed us to do that. Thank you so much.
The big thanks go to our tech team that has the vision, that has the skill, the know-how, and contributes the labor. They're just doing a wonderful job. So I want to applaud them.
Yay, tech team.
Yes,
Thank you so much. And Gerald?
And Chris Dixon and Jim Yaw, who are
Oh,
labor team.
yes, Chris Dixon showed up a few weeks ago and said, hey, I've got some technical skills, could use some help. And we said, thank you, God.
And thank you, Chris.
And thank you, Chris. We certainly can. And Jim Yar, interim minister here in the back, has a wealth of knowledge, and he's been helping us through so many things. So the whole team is just awesome in getting this going. So I am uncomfortable as a human asking for money, and I'm just going to ask. I may not do this more than a few times because it makes me uncomfortable. I had trouble even as a babysitter accepting money. But particularly for those online, we could really use your help to support this community. Thank you. We've got some additional announcements this morning. Leanne, would you like to do the yard announcement?
We're going to reinstate the Adopt an Area program we started last summer. Instead of trying to recruit volunteers all summer long, we're going to ask people to sign up for an area. Like you could choose the front yard, and then you can come at your leisure and pull weeds if you need any instruction on what's a weed and what's not and what needs to be done. I'm going to be available to do that. So I am going to pass a clipboard. We'll start it over here and have it move around and come back up to the front. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Joellen, would you like to do, is it both Leanne and Joellen? Come on up. Yes, please. We'll do the reading afterwards. Yeah. Stand close, put this down, eat the mic. Closer.
Ready.
Ooh, what are you doing? I'm doing your tulips. Okay, cool.
It's a spring celebration. Yes, it is about time. An early evening music fest. Hear music while you dine. Here at the corner of Lines and Vine, the weather will be fine. On the 28th of May, come on by. Let us shine, let us shine, let us shine. May 28th, we're having a spring celebration. We'll have family games with the watchful parent in the children's area. Bring your own food. The cost is, the suggested love offering is
$10.
$10. We are having a gently used clothing sale.
Very as upscale as possible. And jewelry, clothing and jewelry.
What else? You want to see this?
We'll have a bake sale.
Bake
so,
sale?
yeah, we'll have, so family games you covered. Giveaways. We're going to have surprise prizes. Woohoo!
Some
And,
nice ones.
Yes, and a wonderful list of musicians performing.
We have these at the table. We have these at the table over there if you want to pick one up.
Yes, and you could please feel free to deliver a handful or one or two to local businesses, maybe nearby schools, theaters, just
Where you
friends.
work,
Where you work, yep.
And
thank
when
you.
does it start?
It starts at 4 to 7. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we could also use some more help, and I'm going to pass around, not a clipboard this time, but a spiral notebook. If anybody hasn't signed up yet and they would like to volunteer for any role in this, we could use some more help. And I will be sending out an email and making personal phone calls this week to talk about the specifics that we need yet to do. So baking, people on hand, setup, breakdown, that kind of thing. So thank you.
Thank you all. We have been calling it the Spring Fundraiser, and we are now also on some things calling it the Spring Celebration. So they're the same. A Spring Celebration Fundraiser is what we're doing, and it's to help us raise money to support our musical talent at Unity of Fort Collins. Two other quick announcements I want to make. We have been doing some group sharing in the off weeks when Jim and Sharon are not doing the services. And we're going to ask for a couple of people to share their spiritual journey with us. So just a couple, but it's how did you get to Unity? What was your spiritual path like? So if you're interested in speaking on the 12th of June, we have one volunteer, maybe can use two more. So it's about a 10-minute sharing process of sharing your spiritual journey with the community. Let either me or Julie know after the service. We've got lots of things happening with the kids and family program. The family night is on May 20th at 6 p.m. in the garden. We've got Uniteens and YOU have gotten their own space back there, so we're growing with our support for our kids. I think I'll let you read the rest of those announcements yourself, and let's open the service. So will you notice on our screens, hey, check that out. Woohoo! Take a deep breath, please. And all together. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you. You'll notice that there are words, and this is a sing-along. Oh boy. Is that right? Not this. No, not this. Never mind. Forget that.
This was one of the songs suggested by our speaker today, and I loved it. It's a jazzy song, though, and not strictly the same throughout. So I just put it on and took long naps and just played it over and over. Whatever it takes, right? We're loving the fun challenge of working up new songs every week. We're expanding our knowledge and all sorts of other things. And Leanne's now part of our family. Surprise, Leanne. And you're all like, you know, an extension. Or not. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Anyone can do it. There's really nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. But since we're on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. Opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid. Feel afraid. Don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause anyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, we might as well show some style. Come on, give us the smile. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, oh, gliding down, trying not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The thing about time is that time isn't really real. Time isn't really real. Try not to try too hard. Just a point of view. How does it feel for you? Einstein said he could never understand it all. Planets spinning through space. The smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? Oh, I'll be sliding down. I'll be gliding down, trying not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Isn't it a lovely ride? Oh yes, tonight I'll be sliding down. I'll be gliding down, trying not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
Good morning again. This is, Claire, did you choose this? No? Okay. This is from the Daily Word, March 22nd. I am on an awe-filled journey. It may be easy to be in awe of majestic creations, natural phenomena such as mountains and canyons, glorious creatures such as lions or elephants, or bold, soaring architectural marvels that distinguish a city's skyline, kindle my imagination and fill my heart. Today I discover other awesome findings that may have escaped my notice. I pause to appreciate the intricate pattern on a butterfly's translucent wings, or the softness and muted colors of a flower's petals. I listen to the rainfall and smell the sweetness of the freshly cleaned air. The world feels new to me as I bring my full attention to its wonders, large and small. My awe draws me closer to God and deepens my gratitude for my life and for all life.
I see the beauty in you. I see all your heavenly value. I see the light that you are shining in my life, as bright as the stars, shining like the star that you are. I see the Spirit move through your life here, in the things that you do and say, oh, so honest and true, as pure as a newly born child, pure like a child, oh, precious child of universal mother, father love. How wonderful to know you're a miracle. I feel an energy flow around you wherever you go, and I know the source that it stems from colors my world like a rainbow. Oh, what a vision to behold, oh, precious child of universal mother, father love. How wonderful to know you're a miracle. You're a precious child of universal mother, father love. How wonderful to know you're a miracle. Yes, you're a precious child of universal mother, father love. How wonderful to know you're a miracle. Yes, you're a precious child of universal mother, father
push a button?
No, 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 don't.
Never mind. Listen to Richard.
I'm not on it.
Yeah, what?
Did you push the button?
No, you told me not to.
Oh, good.
Test. Yeah, okay. Is it too loud?
Little bit.
It's a little too loud. Okay, so I just want to see you all. Hi. Good morning. And then I got to take these off so I can look at this and talk. But good morning. That music was so good. Thank you. I thought it was incredible. Isn't it? And I went off. Okay. I'm not touching it.
Me neither. I'm not touching it either.
Can you guys hear me?
The lights are off on the box.
Oh. I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing.
Richard, looks like the light went off on the box on
Yeah.
her waist.
I think the battery's not getting out. So,
Well, the music was good. You use the microphone? Oh, Lord. Lordy. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Okay, and good morning to friends online, too. Hi. We're glad you guys are here. My name is Claire Marshel, and I've been blessed to be part of Unity Community for several years. And one thing I am learning, in addition to everything else, is that spiritual community, just like all of life, it's dynamic and it's ever-changing. And I'm learning to embrace and flow with change, which I don't know if I like change and I don't, but I'm learning how to go with it as part of my spiritual path. It's been so meaningful and powerful and really delightful to hear from so many of us. Getting up here and sharing is a way that we can see into each other, into each other's lives and hearts. And I really hope we're going to keep doing this for like ever. We have so much wisdom and experience to share with each other. And I want to hear from all of you, whatever you have to offer. I know it will be valuable. And if in case you can't tell, and just so you know, I am not an experienced speaker. I've never done this before. I volunteered, yes, I want to do this because I want everyone to do it. I think it's fun and it's amazing, but I had no idea how hard it was going to be to actually organize some thought process and put together a talk. And I thank Jim for his kind of steady encouragement. So I don't have anything to talk about or to say that you don't already know, but that is okay, because it's good to be reminded of what we know. So in the end, I've kind of surrendered and just trusting that you'll hear what you need to hear this morning. And in a way, that's really a big part of what my talk is about, is that we can show up just as we are, maybe a little raw and unfinished and imperfect, maybe polished or not, but trusting that each one of us matters. And it's not about whether we have something interesting or fascinating to talk about, but it's rather about that we care for each other and that we're a community. And that we can be with each other in a vulnerable way that opens us to deeper connections and invites us into sacred and authentic community with each other. And that's really important to me. And I think it's a lot of what we are about here at Unity of Fort Collins. So let's take a breath now together. And I invite you to come into your heart as I come into mine. And I notice it's beating fast. So I wanted to read this poem of Mary Oliver's. You've probably heard it many times, but I'd like to ask you to take it in fresh in this moment. And if you'd like to close your eyes and listen, you can. Wild geese, you do not have to be good. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and clear pebbles of rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. The world offers itself to your imagination. Skipped a line. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. The second unity principle says we are inherently good. Our basic nature is from God, and so is everyone's. Ellen Davenport, in her book about the 5 principles, says the point of spiritual growth is to express effortlessly who we truly are. Buddhism calls this our basic goodness. It's what we start with. It's our unconditioned open nature, and it's who we ultimately are. But for most of us, that goodness, our true nature, it gets clouded over. We come into life so open, and we don't always know how to make sense of this human existence and the things that happen early in our life when we're so little and open. So we adapt. We create all kinds of strategies to protect ourselves, and we enter into the human experience. It's a paradox. Our natural self, the soft animal of our body, including all our fears and hang-ups and imperfections, the very human, imperfect versions of ourselves. This is the very place that we open to the divine in ourselves and in others and in all things. We don't have to be some imagined version of ourselves that's got it all figured out and knows what we're doing. That's impossible for most of us anyway. You already are a beloved child of the universe, and your place in the family of things is a given. It's already here. It's who you are now, and it's the gift that you bring to life. Even when there's stuff going on, and there's always stuff going on, even when we're clouded over with difficult emotions or circumstances, our goodness is there shining through, like the stars or the child that might be sitting on your lap. And we can be committed to always growing in our awareness, but we need to stop the war against ourselves. Jack Kornfield, one of my favorite authors and teachers, says in his book, A Path with Heart, we can invite all parts of ourselves to join us at the peace table in our heart. The more we embrace all of ourselves, the more the divine can shine through us and the more we have to offer out to the world. So I was a slow learner as a kid. I had dyslexia, I still do. Pretty much most of what the teachers said or were talking about made almost no sense to me. I was much more interested in how mud felt between my toes, or what was on the inside of a magnolia blossom, or baking cakes with my Easy Bake Oven, than in learning to read. I was the youngest in a family of pretty smart people, and it wasn't anybody's fault, but I took on an idea about myself, that I wasn't smart, I was a little defective, and not equipped to get too far in this world. And I know many of you have some version of that kind of thinking and feeling. And it took me a long time to realize that there wasn't anything wrong with me. And even though I maybe didn't get stuff that other people seem to get, like how to tell time, thank God for digital clocks, or knowing my left hand from my right, that I was still okay, and I still belong to humanity and to spirit. And that like the Tin Man, I did have a brain, and I had a heart and courage too, like everyone. It maybe didn't look the same, but I still had it. But I had to learn what it means to see my own goodness, my own worth, and to believe that I deserved a chance in the world, and to participate in my own way. And it's taken me a while. So this brings me back to Mary Oliver's poem and the wisdom to be found in let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. This has been the key for me. When we can trust that what we love is the portal into our life, into coming home to who we are, and into what we actually have to offer the world, our soul gifts, and we just start loving those things. When we do this, we forget all about who we are or who we think we are, and we find ourselves, and we become a child of the universe. So when I allowed myself to love art and art making, regardless of whether or not I was any good at it by the world's standards, and to love poetry and dancing, and to love the stars and the night sky, the mystery, to love community and ritual and growing with others, and I no longer held myself apart from life, I discovered the incredible joy and beauty and aliveness of the world and of everyone in the world with me. And things got much more interesting. I started to hear the songs of everything and everyone around me, including my own. And the world does call to our imagination. That's been both terrifying for me and also the doorway into finding my place more deeply in the family of things. Like most of you probably have, I've listened to this call several times in my life, and it has asked me to do things that I was very scared to do. But at the same time, knew that I had to do them, that my soul and the world had engagements with each other that had to be honored. One of these engagements came calling when I was about to turn 50, a few years back. It was a guided vision quest with the Animas Institute in western Colorado and Utah. And the preparation for that was about a 6-month process. And the actual experience lasted about 12 days and was primarily in remote backcountry in canyon in Utah. And even though I've always loved and felt best in the natural world, I was far from being a tough mountain woman. And being out there on my own kicked my and was really, really hard. But in this wild experience, I encountered a larger version of myself that I didn't know before. I came into intimate contact not only with the power of raw nature, but with my own wildness. There were many meaningful experiences, including a delirious, frightening, and ecstatic 4-day fast and solo, which I never want to do again, a soul encounter and a message from a wolf, a sweat lodge, and a violent storm. I'm no longer a romantic about being out in the wilderness. In some ways, I prefer the safe, gentle nature of my own backyard nowadays. But I also know the natural world to be my true home and that I belong to it. We all do. And this is a source of aliveness, connection, and wonder that lives inside me. I believe there are many kinds of vision quests that come to us in our lives. Sometimes it's an illness or a profound loss that comes and takes us into the underworld. Sometimes it's a lover or an adventure or an art form that comes and delights and transforms us fully. Sometimes it's the birth of a child and a transition into a new phase of life. Whatever it is, it enlarges us and reveals more of us. Jack Kornfield, again, the Buddhist teacher and writer, in his book, speaks of enlightenment as intimacy with all things. I think Mary Oliver and her poetry embodies that idea. It seems to be something about opening to all of life and to all of ourselves, to all of those around us, letting things in, and that we're willing to experience and embrace the soft animal of our body, both the pain and the pleasure and joy of being alive. And we don't have to be good at that. We're allowed to struggle. So, what helps you remember? What brings you alive and into connection? What are the ways that you remember the soft animal of your body and what it loves? What are the things that call to you, bring you alive, and into connection with yourself, with your true nature, and with the world? I really believe that these are an important part of our spiritual path of awakening. It's important to trust them and to listen to them. Rumi says there are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. The path of awakening to our fundamental goodness is different for each one of us. There's no right or wrong. There's only that which opens us to the mystery and magic of the universe. This is part of what we have the opportunity to do here in this spiritual community, to bring who and what we are to the community in 100 different ways. Like Franklin said several months back, just keep showing up. This community is what we make it. And if we want it to be rich and lively and authentic and human and real and fun and deep, then that's going to come from us. And it doesn't have to be good. It's just our bodies and minds and hearts and souls with spirit flowing in us. And that's all we've got. And that's everything. So here's what I offer you today. You don't have to be good. Just be you and do you and love and shine from that place and bring it to the world and know that you belong. It's a practice. We never get all the way there, and the world keeps bumping us around. And we fall over and forget and get lost 1,000 times too. We can remind each other, and we can remind ourselves, like Mary Oliver says, over and over again, the world or spirit or the mystery calls to us, inviting us into our place in the family of things. I think we're going to get out of here early. We can go get breakfast. So I'd like to end with this poem. It's an ancient poem from China, and it is one of my favorites. Heaven is my father, and earth is my mother, and I, a small child, find myself placed intimately between them. What fills the universe I regard as my body. What directs the universe as my nature. All people are my brothers and sisters. All things are my companions. That's it. Thank you.
That was so beautiful, Claire.
So beautiful. So, Elle, we'll do our thoughts, our prayers, and then let's do an extended meditation. Okay. So give us some time before the blessings.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what we're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is everywhere. And every thought's indeed a prayer. the blessing of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide in me. May God's presence illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon us. May God's peace abide in us. May God's presence illuminate our hearts now and forevermore. Now and forevermore. Now and forevermore.
And as the musicians come up, we'll begin with our offering blessing, and we'll take the offering while the musicians are playing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Sorry. If you wanna sing out, sing out. And if you wanna be free, be free. 'Cause there's a million ways to be. I know that there are. If you wanna be high. And if you wanna live low, live low. 'Cause there's a million ways to go. I know that there are. You can do what you want. The opportunities are on. And if you find a new way, you can do it today. You can make it all true. And you can make it undo. You see, it's easy. You only need to know. Well, if you wanna say yes, say yes. And if you wanna say no, say no. 'Cause there's a million ways to go. You know that there are. And if you wanna be me, be me. And if you wanna be you, be you. 'Cause there's a million things to do. You know that there are. You can do what you want. The opportunities are on. And if you find a new way, you can do it today. You can make it all true. And
and you can make it undo. You see, it's easy. You only need to know. If you wanna sing out, sing out. And if you wanna be free, be free. 'Cause there's a million things to be. You know that there are, you know that there are, you know that there are, you know that there are. You know that there are. Thank you. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Here at the corner of Lions and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here at the corner of Lions and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here at the corner of Lions and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We do have Denise out there with 2 teens as well, doing amazing artwork. But, okay, you guys gonna say what we did today? Okay, talk and pass it on, okay?
So today we talked about prayers and we did some drumming.
We went around the labyrinth while we were drumming and talking about nature and peace.
And these 2 guys were able to slow down and drum in unison. It was amazing. It was something else.
Thank you.
Nice job, guys. Woo! Yay. Before we do the prayer of protection, I just want to say, Claire, that was just magnificent. I feel so touched by, wow. Yeah. That was the heart of unity, and thank you so much for sharing that. You are awesome.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and circle up. We've got a big old circle today. Look at this. Awesome. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.